Welcome to the channel and to this 2,500 point battle between Dark Eldar and Space Marines. Half of the city is burning and half of the city is in ruins because the Dark Eldar have made this place their playground. But the hunters are about to become the hunted because the Space Marines are here to push back the cabal of the last hatred. The Space Marines have chosen to strike at dawn. It is night fighting in turn 1 and they've chosen this arena as their battlefield. Just beyond this ruined church to our martyred lady is this park, one of the few areas that is still untouched by the bombardment, and it is here that the Space Marines and the Dark Eldar will clash. It is the Spoils of War. That's the game where you get 3 tactical objectives every turn, and you cannot discard a card that starts with a number your opponent can steal those objectives. And there are 2 objectives in the center of the table in no man's land, and 2 in this deployment, and 2 in the opposite deployment. We don't know who's going first and who's deploying on what side yet, but we do know it's going to be a bloodbath today. This is my 2,500 points worth of Space Marines. It's a combined arms detachment and a 1st company task force. Leading the charge today will be Brother Captain Sol Garrow. He's got Artificer armor, a relic blade, a storm shield. He's going to be accompanied by a Tech Marine and a command squad. They're going to be rolling around in a Godhammer pattern Land Raider. There's 4 units of troops, 2 coming out of pods. This unit has got a missile launcher flamer, combi flamer, and this unit has got a missile launcher flamer and a power sword. Then 5 guys in a Razorback. There's a sergeant there with a fist and a combi melter. 5 scouts, the sergeant's got a fist. And then heavy, we've got the Whirlwind as well as the Land Raider. Brother Matthias is coming along. He's got his favourite loadout, which is an auto cannon and the flamer. 3 fast attack choices, 2 units of 5 bikes, both with fists and a storm talon. The 1st company task force consists of 3 units of veterans, and essentially these are coming along, so my force remains bound. But they do get extremist level threat, so I nominate a enemy unit and get preferred enemy against that unit, and they're fearless. There's 5 Terminators with assault cannon, 5 Hammonators, well 2 of them have got claws, and 10 Stern Guard, and there's 3 combi plasma in that squad of Stern Guard. Every sergeant that has a power fist is also a veteran, so they have an extra attack. And the thought behind this army, well, we're trying to make armies as mixed as possible. So I've brought a very, very mixed bag here. Lots and lots of points to play with. And Paul, my Dark Eldar opponent, has also brought a very mixed bag. It should be interesting. This is 2,500 points worth of Dark Eldar. It's a combined arms detachment and 2 formations. Leading the army is an Archon with a Husk Blade, a Shadow Field and a Webway Portal, and he's joined by 9 Incubi. And there's a Clavex in that squad. There's 3 units of troops, some Witches with the Leader and Haywire, and 2 units of 10 Cabalite Warriors with Dracons in each and with Haywire. All the Raiders have got Knight Shields and Lances, and these 2 Raiders have got Splinter Axe, so that's going to be nasty. Then we've got a unit of Elites and Blasterborn there. All the Venoms have got dual Splinter Cannons. 2 units of 6 bikes, cluster caltrops, 2 blasters in each, 2 Ravagers with the Lancers, and a Razor Wing with Lances, stock missiles. Sorry, that's Necrotoxin missiles. They wound on a 2. Large blast, AP dash, nasty. Alright, formation number 1 is, what is it, Paul?
This is the Dark Artisan. That's a Homunculi with a Webway Portal. This is a Pain Engine with the twin-linked Heat Lance, and the Kronos, which has a Spirit Probe. And being in that formation, it gives them +1 weapon skill, +1 initiative to the engines.
2nd formation is a Scalpel Squadron. It's 2 units of Racks.
Yep.
Racks in dual Splinter Cannon Venoms. They've both got Aussie factors, which is very heavy metal. They're a gun that shoots 24-inch range, and if they kill something, it blows up and hurts the people next to them. turns the bones into sharp spears. This formation can deep strike in turn 1, and if it causes first blood, you get an extra point. That's D3 extra points for first blood. Really? Okay, I'm going to have to stop that. So as we can see, this army is a real mixed bag as well. Lots of different units spilling out of web portals. A carnival of pain indeed. We are deployed. The Space Marines are going first, and despite it being nighttime, they have got here too early. It looks like the Dark Eldar have pulled back and away and succeeded control of this battle space to the Space Marines. The Scalpel Squadron will be deep striking in at the end of turn 1 after the Space Marines have done all their stuff, so they won't automatically lose, and then I'll get another turn before the Dark Eldar start rolling for reserves and pour forward. So the scouts have infiltrated in right up on their side of the table next to objective 4. Brother Matthias is holding this objective here, and the 5 tactical marines are in this Razorback ready to push up the table. The Whirlwind is hull down with a combat squad, 5 guys with a missile launcher there, the other 5 guys with a missile launcher there, and both of their pods are hurling down from orbit. Brother Captain Sol Garrow is inside the Land Raider with his command squad bikes on the left flank, ready to push forward and sweep round. Everything from the 1st Company Task Force is in reserve. The Terminators are going to be deep striking, and the Stern Guard are slowly making their way up the road. As the Dark Eldar have held back, so too will the 1st Company Task Force. The Scouts have said this sector is clear for now. Space Marine objectives in turn 1, they're hungry for glory, and also they want to seize ground, take objective 1 and 5. End of turn 1, and it looks like this. Everything's pushed up and it's all quiet. The pod tried to land on objective 4 and scattered back, but not out of the battlescape, and they're supporting the scouts which are holding objective 4 at this time. This Razorback moved up to take objective 1, and the command squad moved forward to take objective 5. Objective 5 is Skyfire. That's a sky firing Land Raider right there. Everything else pretty much stayed still. Oh, the bikes. 2 units of bikes zipping around this side of the table. One of the bikers went over a claymore as he went through the ruins. All the traps and the dirty tricks by the Dark Eldar. So I have suffered a casualty, but I do take 2 points. And now it's time for the Dark Eldar Scalpel Squadron to come dropping in and feel out the Space Marines. The Dark Eldar orders are quite clear. Steal ground. So Ascendancy is take any 3 objectives for D3 points and secure objective 3 and 5. Turn 1 on the Scalpel Squadron. Deep struck in and scored objective 3, which is nothing of note, and then shots. Took out one of the Space Marines here and one of the scouts there. Splinter fire echoing through the dawn sun. 2 points to the Space Marines, 1 point for the Dark Eldar. We're going on to turn 2. Space Marine objectives in turn 2. Secure objective 1, and I'm also going to be able to steal objective 5 from the Dark Eldar, kill the king, and make them fail a morale test. End of turn 2 movement. Unfortunately, only 2 things came on for me. I say fortunately because if a lot of stuff came on for me, the whole point of putting a lot of things in reserve was to counterpunch. So both of the Terminator squads are still off, and the pod is still off. The Talon came on, and it's looking at one of the Venoms, as is the Stern Guard Rhino right there, moving up 12 inches. The plan is to try and pop that Venom open and then rinse it with Storm Talon fire, and the unit of bikes there are going to assault that Venom there. At the end of all of this, I'll have domination. I'll control every single objective. It's a shame I haven't pulled that one yet. The only other bit of movement was the scouts have pushed forward a little bit to make sure they're hunkered down on objective 4, and these guys are pulling back into the ruins here, waiting for the Dark Eldar, which they can see howling towards them in the distance. End of the shooting phase. The Whirlwind, both rocket launchers, everything basically that I could, fired in and scored first blood by killing that Venom, and killed everyone that piled out of it. This one's jinking after bolt gun fire came in on it from the bike squad. The other bike squad flattered out into terrain there. This Razorback flattened out a little bit. In the assault phase, the bikes came wheeling into that venom and stripped one hard point off with a crack grenade, and then the sergeant ripped it apart with its power fist, and it exploded, killing one of the bikes and killing 4 of the racks. And the last rack, well, he failed his morale test and fell back and away. Glorious. So at the end of turn 2, the Space Marines score objective 1. They steal objective 5 from the Dark Eldar. That's psychological warfare and first blood. So it is 6 points to the Space Marines and only 1 to the Dark Eldar. Now the Dark Eldar reserves are going to turn up, and they better turn up in force, or this could be a very one-way fight. Dark Eldar objective: scour the skies, kill that Storm Talon, no prisoners, kill as much as possible, and the opportunity to score D3 or D3 plus 3 victory points there. And ascendancy, take 3 objectives. Lots of different ways of scoring points. Let's see how many turn up. Suddenly the battlefield is a very different place. The Dark Eldar have appeared, popping out of webway portals all over the place. The Blasterborn are there, looking at Brother Matthias, and the Witches have taken that objective from him. Remember, Ascendancy is one of his cards. One of the Raiders with Splinter Axe is here, and if he rinses away these scouts, that's a second objective he can steal. And the other Raider is here, and if he rinses away those bikes with Splinter Axe, that's another objective, and that'll be D3 points for Ascendancy. He could potentially also get D3 points for killing 3 things with no prisoners, and while it's 6 points to 1, it will not be for very much longer. This Ravager deep struck in. I think he's looking at the Land Raider. Joining him on this side of the table is the Homunculi. The Archon has succeeded in control of this army to the Homunculi. This is now the Warlord, and he is gonna either pick on the Whirlwind or pick on this squad here. And the bikes are way over in this corner, ready to pick on this squad here. They can't charge in this turn. That might keep me alive. The Flyer is still off. A unit of bikes is still off. A Ravager is still off the table, but that was good reserve roll in there. And the Archon's just landed here, looking around, ready to swing right or left and present a threat. The Dark Eldar trap is well and truly sprung. Let's see what damage they can inflict in the shooting phase. The Splinter Cannons and the 2 Venoms fired in at the squad here. 4 out of 5 are dead, and he's fallen back. And then this squad with its heat lance ripped off the weapon of the Whirlwind. Best possible result really, other than blowing it up. The Ravager managed to stun the Land Raider. Fortunately, with Power of the Machine Spirit, I'll be able to fire at least 1 gun, but no pop. Around here the Lance also joined in, didn't do anything. But mission accomplished here for the Dark Eldar. That unit of bikes have gone. The Splinter Axe helped, as did this unit of scouts. They're gone as well, so that's Ascendancy. That's about as good as it got really, because around here, the Haywire Grenade and the Blasters, nothing. He got a cover save, the Dreadnought, so he's still alive. And the Haywire Grenade, it rolled a 1 from the Witches. On the other side of the table, these bikes only managed to kill 1 in this squad. There's a Flamer there, a Power Sword there. I can see a counterpunch charge coming on here. Those bikes might be in trouble. And Paul just reminded me that they have their assault move, so let's see where they end up. Not very far, it turns out. The Dark Eldar now control their side of the table with 2 full units of Cabalites in those Raiders. And around my side of the table, well, there's not a lot in the middle anymore. Just on Brother Matthias, the Dreadnought here, ready to punch back. So that's 1 point for no prisoners and D3 points for Ascendancy. 3 points in total. So it's 6 points to the Space Marines, 4 points to the Dark Eldar, and we're going on to turn 3. Space Marine objectives in turn 4. Secure objective 4, which is now controlled by the Dark Eldar. Kill that Homunculus and recon, a 3 point at this stage. The pod is still in reserve. The other unit of Terminators are still in reserve, and the Hammonators deep struck mishap and were placed in this corner here, coordinates scrambled. I've already ran them forward, trying to influence this side of the table where the Stern Guard are out. and there's going to be a lot of Hellfire shots going into his Warlords unit there. But that's pretty much it in the backfield. I'm going to take a las cannon shot at this Ravager and a missile launcher shot at this Ravager, and the Dreadnought is going to charge the Blasterborn. The Venom is going to take some shots at the Archon and his Incubi unit, and I thought long and hard about getting the squad out of that Razorback. There's a combi melter in there, Sergeant with a fist, but the Splinter Axe there, the Incubi there, they would be dead next turn if they came out, so they're staying inside, which means I'm giving up on objective 4. In fact, the only objective I could potentially score this turn is Recon. I think Kingslayer is going to be a bit... it's not going to happen. And around here, the bikes came zooming out to engage this Raider, and another Claymore went off and took the life of the veteran sergeant. So no fist, just crack grenades. That was a painful loss. And this squad here, well, the Flamer and the Sergeant with a sword, he's going to assault these bikes. But my forces are split up. There's a fight in this corner. There's a fight in this corner. Terminators are over here, and there's stuff going on in this corner and stuff going on in that corner. I'm all over the place. The Dark Eldar are sowing confusion amongst the Space Marine lines. I'm in the lead for now, but for how much longer? Lots of gunfire, lots of jinking, not very successful. One bike killed here. 2 hull points stripped off the Archon's Raider, and it is stunned. The Dreadnought ripped open that transport, went boom, 4 died, and he's now falling back straight towards the Dreadnought. Round here, 3 combi plasmas fired up, but there's a ruin save there, and Feel No Pain, and all Hellfire rounds I could get my hands on. Long story short, the Kronos is on 1 wound left, and I don't fancy my charges in assault. I need these Terminators to get there as soon as possible, and they're at least a turn or 2 away, because when they charge, that's gonna sting. The Land Raider managed to shake this Ravager along with a missile launcher from up there. In the assault phase, I lost 2 bikes to Overwatch 2 and managed to strip 1 hull point off that Jinkin Raider. That was painful. Round here, I killed one of the bikers and then consolidated into cover there. Then he hit and run. And round here, the Dreadnought smashed that last Blasterborn. He could consolidate towards the Witches, but I suspect they won't be there next turn because there's a Dreadnought charging towards them. And if they stay in the corner of the table, I'm happy with that. And I think the Sternguard are in trouble, so I'm making my way around towards the Sternguard. Long story short, I only scored Recon, and the Dark Eldar are definitely going to score objective 4 next turn. So it's 7 points to the Space Marines, 4 points to the Dark Eldar. Dark Eldar objectives, and then nasty. Scour the skies, he needs this Flower to come in, and behind enemy lines, if he gets 3 units within 12 inches of my board head, that's an extra D3, and he's already got 3 back there. And secure objective 2, which the Witches are on, which is within 12 inches of my board edge. It seems to me that the Dark Eldar knew exactly what they were doing when they kept everyone in reserve. In the movement phase, the Razor Wing is on, looking to get Scour the Skies by taking out that Storm Talon, and the Incubus are out of their transport because the transport is stunned, and this Ravager deep struck in, it didn't scatter. It's looking all the way up at the Land Raider over there. I think the other Raiders are going to join in, and this Ravager, maybe, but they're all jinking. This one, of course, is stunned. The bikes are moving forward, and that Raider with the Splinter Axe has gone back because there's a unit in that terrain there, and they're about to get lit up. And the last unit of bikes are making their way through the chapel at this side of the table. Long story short, the Dark Eldar can score all of their points this turn. Let's see what happens. End of the shooting phase, and all the Ravagers and Raiders jinking away opened up on the Land Raider, which recovered a hull point last turn, and it's shaken again. Shaken, that's all they did. All that jinking didn't help the fire. But in the middle, the blasters from the bike squad have blown up the Razorback that was holding objective 1. They're not pinned, they're sat there. Interestingly, Splinter Axe from here killed one in this squad of 3, and Splinter Axe on those 2 bikes killed one of the 2 bikes, who's now falling back, and he's there. So only 1 death to Splinter Axe from the Raiders this turn. And then the remaining fire from this Venom and from this Carnival of Pain killed 3 of the Stern Guard. They're fearless because they're first company. Oh, and the Dark Eldar didn't score Scour the Skies. The Storm Talons jinking and lost 1 hull point. In the assault phase, the Incubi tried to charge this unit that got out of the Razorback and lost 2 to Overwatch, then failed to charge, even with fleet. And then the bikes came wheeling in there, and essentially it was the 6+ Feel No Pain which kept my sergeant alive with his fist. And he's locked up with him. He didn't die, the other 3 guys with him are dead, but they're locked up, and hopefully I might be able to punch him with a fist next turn. And then round here, I issued a challenge with the Stern Guard Sergeant, and he's the only one left alive. The Pain Engine has got a wound back with It Will Not Die, and 6 Stern Guard died. At the end of all of that, the Dark Eldar get 2 points, 1 for securing Objective 2, 1 for securing Objective 4, and D3 extra points for behind enemy lines. 4 more points in total. It's 8 points to the Dark Eldar, 7 points to the Space Marines. The Cabal are the last hatred and now in the lead, and we're moving on to turn 4. Space Marine objectives are to secure Objective 5, which the Land Raider is sat on, and Kingslayer, and kill characters. It looks like I've got to really kill that homunculus. In my movement phase, I wanted to deep strike the Terminators in there, but they mishapped, and I've gone back into Ungern reserves. They're not going to influence the battle till turn 5. So, the Land Raider, which is scoring Objective 5, has disgorged Captain Solgaro and his command squad, and we're going to have a go at that Splinter Rack. He's pressuring my back line, so I'm going to pressure his back line. And with Ironhound's chapter tactics, I got a 4+ Feel No Pain there. I think I might be able to survive the Overwatch. And talking about pressurizing his back line, the last pod came in here, and there is a Flamer, Combi Flamer in that squad. And they're joining in with their brothers here that attacked the bikes a turn or 2 ago. And hopefully I'm going to kebab me some Kabalites. Kababalites, as Paul just said. Very good, Paul. The Flyer has left combat airspace, jinking away, and my Dreadnought, which I wanted to charge into his homunculus squad, got a crappy move through cover, just 1 inch. So he's turned around and he's going to have a go at that Ravager instead. And the Terminators here are going to charge that Ravager, which leaves his Warlord free for this turn. In the shooting phase, very little happened. Missile fire from there into this, nothing. The autocannon into the Ravager stripped 1 hull point. Snap firing las cannons and las cannons into that. It's jinking, and it made every single jink. And round here on this side of the table, all of that wall of death, no escape shenanigans, and it jinking Raider, and 4 Kabalites died from that Raider. So I'm going to assault here. I'm going to assault here, I'm going to assault there. In the middle, everything is largely untouched. I should mention that the last lonely bike that was there, he's now hiding in this ruin down here. Don't know what to do with him, so just keep him there, keep him safe. An opportunity might present itself later in the game. In the assault phase, the claws from the Hammonators managed to shred that Ravager, so it didn't blow up, it's just a wreck, and crack grenades managed to glance that thing to death, so it's just a wreck. It didn't blow up, and the guys are out. They're not pinned. I'm very angry. I failed this charge here, and I failed the charge in the back corner, but didn't lose anyone to Overwatch. The Sergeant with a fist died in this assault, so that's 1 to the Dark Eldar, and of course the Stern Guard died to the Pain Engines here, which are pulling back and pulling away. I chucked Assassinate, ditched it from my hand. I want to pull out something that might be a bit more useful, and only scored secure Objective 5 here. So it's 8 points to 8, and we're going on to Dark Eldar turn 4. Dark Eldar objective Scour the Skies is still in this hand, and there isn't a flyer to shoot at, and secure Objective 4 and 2 both of which he controls already. We've gone on into the movement and shooting phase, and this Ravager and that Raider, which the Incubi got back into, combined fire with the bikes and blew up the Land Raider, and a flaming piece of shrapnel flew out and killed the arena champion. That left the Flyer to fire its necrotoxin missiles down into the command squad along with the Cavalites in the backfield, and only 2 died. That 4+ feel no pain, proving valuable there. Round here, the 6 remaining Cavalites used their Splinter Axe to rinse away 3 out of 5 of the unit that came out of the drop pod. And then Heat Lancers and Blasters all over the place did nothing to the Dreadnought. It was a haywire grenade hucked out from the Witches, which caused a glancing hit. So we're moving on to the assault phase now. Do you want to charge that Dreadnought, or are you going to jump pack away, do your assault move away? In the end, he tried to charge with his homunculus unit. I didn't overwatch and he failed to charge. And then because of the heavy flamer on the Dreadnought, he decided not to charge with the bikes, despite the fact that there's 2 cluster caltrops there. Cowardly Dark Eldar pulling backwards using their assault moves.
You've got a flamer, man.
Got a big heavy flamer, yeah. And then over here, they did a little jump using their assault moves as well. Dark Eldar score objective 2 and 4. And we are moving on to turn 5. It's 10 points to the Dark Eldar, 8 points to the Space Marine. Space Marine objectives turn 5. Still got Kingslayer in my hand, but I'm thinking about ditching it. And score objective 6, which the Injured Whirlwind is sat on, and Ascendancy, any 3 objectives. End of the movement phase, and I'm scoring objective 6, the Whirlwind's on it. And the Storm Talon and the Dreadnought are closing in on this homunculus unit. Along with the Terminators here, they need a 12-inch charge to join that fight this turn. I'm thinking of running them and then joining them next turn if the Dreadnought's still alive. Then I need to score 3 objectives for Ascendancy. So the Rhino that was here, that the Stern Guard got out of, is over there, stealing that one. And the Terminators have finally made it to the party. They got a direct hit and a scoring objective 5, so that would be D3 points for Ascendancy. My command squad have turned around. Choice targets. Get the Cavalites in the backfield or the bikes. I think the bikes are a bigger threat, so let's go after the bikes first. And of course the Terminators are going to light them up. And then over here, 2 men left in each squad that came out of those pods. Both of the Flamers are still alive with some tactical positioning. So that's going to be 2 more Flamer hits on the side of that Raider. Hopefully I'll be able to clear the rest of them off. His Archon is going to remain untouched, as is the Flyer, as is this Ravager, as is the bikes. I'm running out of weapons to use to point at his army, but I should be able to steal a few points this turn. That homunculus unit is as tough as nails. The Storm Talon, the Dreadnought, everything. It took 1 wound. The homunculus, 1 wound. I'm going to charge him with a Dreadnought, but tough. And the Terminators ran 2 inches in, trying to catch these guys in a scissor action, hoping it goes to turn 6 or 7. I can smash them. Plus I'm behind. I need the points. I need it to go on. Around the backfield, there's 2 Cavalites left inside that Jinking Raider, which is burning and on fire, and it's going to get charged by those 2 remaining squads there before they get charged by the Incubi, which just got blown out of their Raider. And the shot came from here. Easy shot for that missile launcher guy, just like shooting womp rats back home. And then here, Terminators in the command squad fired into that squad of bikes and killed 2 of them. We need to make a break check there actually, because I'm gonna charge. Scratch that. Turn 5, they're fearless. Power from pain, ramping up and ramping up. They are angry. Just like these 2 bikes here, which 2 of them died from the Stormbolters from the drop pods. So looking across the battlefield, it's anyone's game at this point. The points are close. We're losing men left, right and centre. My shooting is still effective. His shooting is still effective. We've got some assaults to come on. Then the Dark Eldar counterpunch at the bottom of turn 5, and then the game might end. Let's get these assaults on. Let's kill some more of these alien scum. That tough little unit only took 1 wound to Dreadnought Power Fist attacks, and I took a glancing hit back again, so honoured brother Matthias is on 1 hull point left, and each of these models is on 2 wounds left. Around here I ripped open that raider, and round here I killed every single one but one of the bikes, which hit and run, and then sneakily, it's the arena champion. He made all his feel no pain saves against Solgaro, so he's still alive. They consolidated this way a little bit, but one bike, pain in the ass, hiding in the backfield there. I get objective 6 and D3 extra points for ascendancy. Ooh, that's 4 more points in total. The Space Marines have edged back into the lead. It's 12 points to the Space Marines, 10 points to the Cabal of the Last Hatred, and we're going on to turn 5. The game could end after this turn. The Dark Eldar want to take ground that the Space Marines own. Objective 1, 5 and 6 are all controlled by the Imperium. We're going to have to see some tactics, we're going to have to see some cunning, or it's going to be all over for the Dark Kin. In the Dark Eldar movement phase, the Witches didn't immobilize themselves and they're zipping round here. That's an objective secured unit. They can steal 6 when they go flat out. That's one objective. To take objective 1, well, the bikes have got Hammer of Wrath. They're going to go flying in there. And the Raider, Ravager, which isn't jinking, is going to fire at it. Fortunately, I popped smoke last turn. That's what that wool on top signifies. So I might be able to withstand the shooting attack. I don't know about the assault, though. Don't know about the assault from those bikes, because the Incubi, which were going to go that way, have turned around. The combat drugs are +1 strength, so they're on strength 4. They get Furious Charge, strength 5. And with their Clavexes, they can get it up to strength 6. The rear arm of that vehicle's 10. So it's likely that that Rhino is going to get ripped open, and that'll be 2 objectives. The Incubi himself has split off, and he's going to charge one of those units on his own. He's not the Warlord. He succeeded control.
He's a nutter.
He's a nutter. While this fight continues before they get caught. Can the Dreadnought hold them up before they get caught by the Hammonators coming in the other direction? Will it go on to turn 6? As for turn 5, no real chance of getting it this turn. He can obsec it with his bike, but I don't think his bike is going to last very long. They're moving forward. The Flyer's going to take on the Crack Shooter from up here. In the shooting phase, these bikes jinked last turn because of the drop pods, and they didn't do anything to the Rhino. And the Ravager hit 3 times, penned 3 times, and I made all 3 smoke saves, so he's gonna get charged. Round here, Terminator died to a blaster, and he's gonna charge in if he doesn't die to Overwatch. And 1 Marine died from splinter fire from there, and Solgaro took a wound. So casualty there, and the Flyer, well, they made their ruin saves. So not a lot of death yet. Let's see if the bike survives the Overwatch and the Rhino survives that charge. One last thing, the Venom moved up in the shooting phase and is securing objective 6, obsecking it. The Rhino is dead. The Incubi don't have combat drugs, but they do have Furious Charge, and they do have their Clavex stuff. Long story short, it blew up, and a piece of burning shrapnel took out one of the bikes when it blew up. And the Incubi steal objective 1. That's mission successful there. In the backfield, the Archon less successful, just killed 1 chap. Round here, the biker died to Overwatch as he tried to throw himself into those Terminators. And here, the Dreadnought has gone. Brother Matthias has fallen, and they only consolidated 1 inch away, trying to get away from those Terminators. So the Dark Eldar get 2 points, making it 12 points to 12. And this is not the way the world ends. We're going on to turn 6. Space Marine objectives: Kingslayer, secure objective 1, secure objective 1. The orders are to take objective 1 in the middle of the table. If I don't get that, the Dark Eldar will steal it twice next turn, and I will lose this fight. I must somehow get that objective. Okay, this is the plan. The Terminators are coming in for his Warlord's unit. Hopefully Kingslayer, maybe, we shall see. And then in the middle of the board, the injured Whirlwind is going to move flat out onto that objective while I need to kill the bike and the Incubi. So to kill the bike, the drop pods are in range, missile launcher up here in range, Storm Talon in range, everything on the bikes. And then the Terminators need to make the charge. The Whirlwind will score it, and the Terminators need to make the charge and pull them forward and try and kill every single one of them to get objective 1. End of turn 6 for the Space Marines. It took everything I can to fire and kill that biker, and the Terminators failed the charge. The tank is now securing objective 1, but I don't score objective 1 twice. Also, my Hammerrators on this side, both units of Terminators, failed their charge. Come on, men. These guys rolled a 3, and they rolled a 5. Did kill that one bike, though. Did kill one Cavalite with a flamer, sneaky flamer there. And I do steal objective 5, so it's 13 points to 12. We've got this assault to resolve, and that's it. Of course, the Archon killed that Space Marine with his Husk Blade, so there's 1 point in it. And we're going on to Dark Eldar, turn 6. The Dark Eldar need to score twice as many objectives as the Space Marines, kill off any character, and kill off anything in the shooting phase. And of course, steal objective 1 twice. The Ravager managed to move round and destroy the Rhino, scoring overwhelming firepower, which meant the Incubi scored objective 1 twice. And the Dark Eldar score this. And they score that one, which is twice as many objectives as me. I only have this one. Oh, and this little chap here is within 3 inches of that. So that's D3 extra points, plus overwhelming firepower, plus those 2 points for objective 1. That's a lot of points. 18 points to 13, and this is the way the world ends. It was close until it wasn't. Down this side of the table as well, the homunculi, that tough unit came flying in and tore the Storm Talon out the sky, taunting these Terminators who've been charging after them all game and failing to get into the assault. He took on everything I managed to throw at him: Stern Guard, missile launchers, Storm Talon fire, and shrugged it off laughing. Power from pain, making this guy virtually immortal. And round in the backfield, the Incubi killed that unit, and he's consolidated. Oh, he had consolidated around there. Paul's already picked him up into that building there, slaughtering as he went. If the game had gone on, the Terminators would have made their way up the table to seek revenge upon the Incubi here. And yeah, maybe the command squad gone back for them. This bike in that last turn of the game took splinter fire from the Cabalites there, and from the Witches here. He took a lot of shots and managed to shrug off every single shot that came in at him. Still alive, still revving his engine. It was a close game, it was a brutal game, but the Dark Eldar have made this city their playground. The 13th Legion will succeed the field. They will leave this city to its fate, burning. The losses have been too much for the Space Marine chapter to bear, so they're going to retreat to their battle barge and virus bomb this planet from orbit and destroy it utterly. We are a renegade Space Marine chapter after all, Paul, so your entire army is about to be destroyed. Webway portals? Sod your webway portals, exterminatus! Thanks for watching, happy wargaming.